I am Andi the Knittress, the owner of the Knotty Knittress, and this is my channel on the internet where I like to talk about yarn. I have not filmed an episode since January. It has been busy. It is the almost end of April, and I have been trying to squeeze in an episode. I have made notes for said episode. I just do not have the time to sit down and film a proper episode. So I am going to throw together a real quick, this is what I finished, this is what I've been working on, and just pop in some pictures just so that I can get this out and show, just kind of have an episode out there. People are waving at me at the window. Yeah, so it's just hard to sit down and squeeze in a full episode. I am non-stop work mode here at the shop. If you view me only on YouTube and you would like a little more, follow me on Instagram. I do post lots of things over on Instagram that I'm finishing, that I'm working on whenever they happen. So that's probably more up-to-date reference rather than waiting for me to film a new episode. So what I have finished since January. First of all, I meant to show a hat in January that I finished in December. It was a super cute hat. I will toss in a picture here. If you watched my Vlogmas, you would have seen it. It is a Christmas tree hat that has, I used some Jingle Bell yarn that I got from my friend Robin from Looking Glass Fibers. And she spun this gorgeous hand spun yarn with little tiny jingle bells in it. And when I saw it, I was instantly inspired to make a Christmas tree hat. So I made that and finished that. And then the next thing I finished was my Korean poncho, which is knit out of my Pretty Twisted Yarns Advent that I got last year, 2024 Advent. And I really do like that. And like I said, I'll have pictures in here of everything I'm talking about. It's just a super cozy, fun knit to wear, and it is my favorite part of a sweater because it's essentially all yoke, which is my favorite thing to do, is just to cast on a sweater and do the yoke, and then usually after the sleeve split I get bored. But the Korean poncho is pretty much just all yoke increases, and then you bind off. The next thing I finished was my haiku cardie. I really love my haiku cardie. It's such a fun construction. You start in the center back and you work your way out, and then you knit, you know, each front panel, and then you join it in and knit flat back and forth for the body. And I knit that all in my hand spun. It kind of is just really gorgeous, and it flows very nicely. It was one of those like modular things that I saw, and it just, you know, checked off that little box in my brain that says, ooh, this is interesting enough that I have to figure it out. The next thing that I finished is I made a photographer hat out of some black yarn that I had held with Make It Tweed, which is a yarn that I got here in the shop that is pretty much a strand of yarn with little bumps that you hold with another yarn to make the yarn you're working with look like tweed. And the one I got is a rainbow Make It Tweed, so I used that in a black hat, and then I decided I needed to use it in a white hat as well, and so I made a little cabled hat with the Make It Tweed and the white. There's no pattern for the cable hat. I essentially just cast on the same amount of stitches that I did for the photographer hat and then turned it into cables with some just basic cable charts. I think I perused a few places to get inspired. Nothing had exactly what I was wanting, so I kind of just pulled from my knowledge of knitting cables and created my own. The next thing I did was I took one of my pullover sweaters. I knit a pullover sweater probably 3 years ago out of some Madeline Tosh farm twist, and it was a rainbow at the top and the bottom was white. The sleeves were all rainbow, and I never wore it because the yoke on it was a little short. It did not quite, it was one of those sweaters where it says cast on 4 stitches, you know, when you do for the sleeve split, and I know better. I need to cast on like 8 to 12 stitches in my underarm. 4 stitches is never enough. So it never wore right. So I think I wore that sweater only maybe like 4 or 5 times in its lifetime. And I decided that I wanted to steek it. So I just took my sewing machine and I did 2 secure lines. I just did a zigzag stitch straight up it, and I sewed them. I sewed on each side of where I wanted to cut it, and then I cut it, and then I picked up a button band, and I had these super fun chunky resin buttons that I got off of Etsy that came in a mystery pack. So they were not matching, but they were all kind of different rainbow colors. So they worked perfectly for this sweater. And now I have worn that sweater more times since I steeked it than I ever did in its whole lifetime. So that was a super fun FO / rework. Yeah, I don't know. I knit a pair of thrum mittens out of Malabrigo Rasta and some beautiful roving. It was really cold one day here in Roseburg, and I just thought, gosh, it would be so nice to have something super warm to put my hands in. So I made those, and that was a super fun thing to do. I like to do things sometimes that kind of scratch my brain, you know, to be like, hey, how is this construction actually done, just so that I can have the knowledge of that. The next thing that I finished was a pair of fingerless mitts that I made out of some hand spun. So I don't really ever hand spin with a purpose most of the time. I just spin for the enjoyment of spinning. So I wanted to try a fractal spin because my friend Amber is always, you know, showing off her beautiful fractal spun yarns that she does, and I thought that I would like to try that. So I took some roving that I got and I split it all and did a fractal spin 3-ply to create a bulky yarn that I wanted to knit into some fingerless mitts. And and you're not supposed to, you're supposed to let everything rest, but within one day, one Sunday, I was off of work, I spun the yarn, plied the yarn, knit the yarn into, I actually spun the yarn, plied the yarn, soaked the yarn, threw it in my yarn dryer because I have one of those, and then I was able to knit all within a 24-hour period those mittens, and it was just super fun, and they're so bright and colorful, and they live in my purse for when it is cold. I also threw in my hand at sewing. I made myself a dress. So I took an apron that I like to wear over some of my dresses sometimes because I really like the way that it kind of fits, and I use that sort of like a pattern and doubled it and then made myself a little dress. It is by no means fancy at all. I just got some like cotton gauzy purple material from Joann's before I found out they were closing. That's a whole nother saga. Anyway, and I put that, you know, I laid it out and cut it out and sewed it together, and I have a cute little dress. It's a little wonky, fits a little weird, not bad for my first attempt at making clothing with no pattern. Yeah, so I will have had all the pictures in here. I don't know what else I'm gonna toss in here. I've been doing lots and lots of prep work for my yarn, the yarn event that I have in June. So I get to go to a wool festival and I am a vendor and I'm very excited. I get to take all of my 3D printed yarn bowls and the rugs that I make and Bobby's hand dyed yarn, and I get to go and be a vendor and basically say, hey, guess what? I'm a yarn store in Roseburg. Come see me. And it's a festival that I usually go to as a patron, and now I get to go to it as a vendor. So I'm excited for that. Another thing that I have done is I have made these gorgeous rugs up here on my wall that look like yarn skeins, and they just make me happy. They fill the white space that used to be here, and then I have been 3D printing out some giant stitch markers to fill in, so it kind of looks like, you know, maybe my project bag spilled out on the wall there next to the Knotty Knittress. Yeah, so I've just been having fun doing all of that. I wish that life would allow me to sit down and film an episode, but in the span of time that I have sat here and talked to you for this, I have been interrupted 3 or 4 times. Whether it's by, you know, a phone call or a person or whatever. So life just doesn't allow me the time to sit down and say, hey, I'm Andi the Knittress. This is my channel. These are all of my makes. I let it get too far behind. I have too much to show. So hopefully this vloggy episode will do for now. Like I said, I will have pictures in here of everything. I have been making some really cool new project bags. Follow me on Instagram. I show everything on there all the time on both the Knotty Knittress and Andi the Knittress. That's where I am the most active. Scarlett has been making some really cute, like, stuffed animals. She doesn't crochet as much all of the time, but she's been making some cool crocheted stuffed animals, and she's got into decorating these masks. So they're like cardboard masks that kind of look like animals, like cats and stuff. And then she like paints and does cool designs on them and maybe glues like felt or fur or whatever. She's just being super creative. She's almost 13. Her birthday is coming up here soon. I will toss in some pictures of the things that she's been making. And yeah, this is gonna be a quick just hodgepodge of here's what I've got put together. This is what I've made. It's all gonna be pictures, and let me show you what I'm working on. So I have been inspired recently. I was perusing Ravelry for patterns, as one does, and it was on the What's Hot Right Now, and it is called the Woven Warmth Shawl by Nancy Marchant, and it is gorgeous. I'm going to flip this camera around and show you. So this is what I've been working on. It has got all of my minis here. These are all Beetlejuice themed minis from Advents I have collected, and it is just a stunning little knit piece that looks woven by the way that you work it. It is super fun. It is a little bit of a brain teaser to keep this all managed, but I have found that if I'm working at a tabletop, it kind of is a little better than sitting at home in my recliner. But I'm in love with how this is turning out, and I'm very excited to have this done. I haven't really been super excited to cast on many things lately, but this, I saw the pattern and instantly went into project planning mode. So yeah, that's what I'm working on now. I have a couple of other whips. I have my flirt skirt, and I don't think I have very much else other than that I've been working on. I still have my voyage. I almost finished the one sleeve. I have cut the steek and tried it on. That fits nicely. But nothing is really just making me, I think I have a lot on my brain prepping for this festival, and so that's why I haven't been in the knit all the things mode. It's just that stage in my life. Small business owner, lots to do, lots to take care of. But if you would love to join me for a Zoom on Sunday, I host a Zoom on Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific time. The folks that join me there have become like super amazing friends. We've been doing that Zoom, I don't know, I think it's been 2 or 3 years now, every Sunday. Sometimes, I'll miss a Sunday, but the room is open. Somebody is always there to kind of host it if I am not. So I hope that you all are having just a lovely time in your life, and that you don't mind this vlog style episode, because life is just a lot right now for me to carve out the time to sit down and film, a 45-minute episode and then edit it all. Not to mention gathering all of said things, all of the information about the said things. It's just a little bit much for my life right now. So for now, this is gonna have to do. And I hope to either have another vlog episode or another regular episode sometime soon. Maybe I'll do a little vloggy thing. I'm gonna go visit a new yarn store in Springfield in May with some of my local yarny friends. So we will see what I have in store. Editing Andi here. As I'm putting this together, I realized I forgot to talk about 2 of the projects that I have finished. I finished my Geo Gradient shawl from 2023, I think. I finished it early. I didn't do the last clue, and I'm happy with it. And then the other one I finished was my Fiberfest shawl, which is also a Stephen West pattern. And that one was a really fun knit. Once you get to all the stitches, like I had like 500 stitches and there were short rows across to those. And so I lost steam on it. But it is now finished. And so, yeah, I forgot to talk about those 2. So until then, take life one stitch at a time. That's all you can do.